If you think the Galaxy Z Fold 8 has finally perfected the big screen foldable, Apple might be about to challenge that idea in a big way. Samsung's latest Fold is thinner, lighter and more refined than ever, and early reviews are strong. But if the long-rumored foldable iPhone, often called the iPhone Ultra or iPhone Fold, really does arrive this fall, it won't just be competing on specs. It will need to justify a rumored price that could hit $2,400 to $2,500, noticeably higher than the Fold 8. So how could Apple possibly win that fight? Based on leaks and industry reports, there are three major advantages that could help the iPhone Ultra beat the Galaxy Z Fold 8. A dramatically cleaner, almost crease-free display of far better, tablet-class app experience from day one, a more efficient chip that turns similar battery sizes into longer, real-world battery life. Let's break each one down. A nearly crease-free foldable display, one of the biggest complaints about early foldable phones was obvious the crease. Samsung has spent years shrinking it. And with the Galaxy Z Fold 8, they've made real progress. The Fold line is subtler than on previous generations and less distracting when you're scrolling or watching content. A lot of that comes down to Samsung's use of advanced hinge and display materials, including titanium-related tech that lets the panel bend more smoothly and reduces internal stress. But the crease still exists. You can see it, and you can feel it. Rumors around the iPhone Ultra suggest Apple is aiming for something even more ambitious. A display that's virtually crease-free to the naked eye. How Apple might pull this off, reports claim. Apple is working closely with Samsung Display on a custom foldable panel using liquid metal alloy, a highly durable, elastic metal inside the hinge to deliver a smoother, more controlled bend, developing a laser-drilled metal support plate under the screen that spreads stress across a much wider bending area instead of concentrating it in a narrow line. In simple terms, Apple is trying to redesign the entire bending zone so the display doesn't have to break along one hard line. That means less mechanical strain and a flatter look when the device is open. Why the crease matters, some people say, you get used to it. But the crease isn't just an aesthetic issue. It's distracting when watching movies. Reading or gaming, it can make the device feel more like a tech demo than a polished product. It affects how confident people feel about long-term durability. If the iPhone Ultra can deliver a panel where the crease is truly difficult to see in everyday use, that instantly becomes one of the easiest selling points to explain. Apple's foldable looks and feels like a single, seamless screen. That alone could attract a lot of buyers who have been wary of Samsung's foldables so far. Fully optimized, big screen apps from day one hardware is only half the story. The real make-or-break factor for a foldable is software, and more specifically, apps that actually use the big inner display properly. Where the Galaxy Z Fold 8 shines, and where it still struggles, to Samsung's credit, a number of major apps do take advantage of the Fold 8's large 7.6-inch inner screen. Gmail and Google Calendar can use dual-pane layouts. YouTube can make smart use of the extra space. TikTok lets you watch vertical videos while viewing comments or other info beside them. Those are solid experiences and show what foldables can be, but there's still a long list of big-name apps that feel like stretched phone apps on the Galaxy Z Fold 8X. Twitter, huge. Awkward margins with lots of wasted space slack. No proper dual-pane layout like on the iPad mini or other tablets. Instagram. Comments can obscure the content instead of working with the larger canvas. Even 2026, Android's foldable ecosystem is inconsistent. Some apps are great, others are just blown-up phone UIs, and users are stuck waiting for developers to catch up, often app by app, update by update. Why iPhone Ultra could be so much better for apps? This is where Apple may quietly dominate. Leaks suggest the iPhone Ultra will still run iOS, but inherit many of the scaling and layout advantages of iPadOS. Apple has spent more than a decade building tools that make it easier for developers to support. Different screen sizes and aspect ratios, split views, and multi-column layouts. Adaptive interfaces that automatically rearrange elements on bigger canvases. Technologies like auto layout, size classes, and Swift UI already allow many apps to show single-column layouts on smaller iPhones, automatically switch to dual-pane or more advanced layouts on iPads. Apple gives the iPhone Ultra the same treatment. Two big things happen. Apple's own apps, Mail, Messages, Notes, Calendar, Files, Safari, reminders, etc., will almost certainly launch with polished, tablet-style dual-pane views on the foldable screen. A lot of third-party developers will be able to bring their existing iPad-style interfaces to the iPhone Ultra with significantly less work than on Android. That means productivity apps like Slack, Teams, Notion, and Trello can show sidebar plus content right away. Creative apps can use tool panels on the side and a big canvas in the middle. Social and entertainment apps can show video on one side, comments or controls on the other without weird hacks in short. Instead of, here's a bigger phone screen, the iPhone Ultra could feel like you're basically carrying a tiny iPad that folds into your pocket. That's a massive value add, especially if you care about multitasking, reading, note-taking, or creative work. A more efficient chip for longer battery life on paper. The battery capacities of the Galaxy Z Fold 8 and the rumored iPhone Ultra are surprisingly close. Galaxy Z Fold 8, around 4,800 mAh, with modern silicon carbon battery Techie Ultra, rumored 4,183 mAh split dual cell design, potentially also using silicon carbon enhancement's capacity alone, doesn't tell the full story. What really matters is efficiency, how much performance and screen time you can squeeze out of each mAh. The chip difference. 3 nm versus 2 nm, the Fold 8 is powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, built on a 3 nm process. That's already cutting edge and delivers strong performance per watt. The iPhone Ultra, however, is rumored to be using Apple's new A20 Pro chip, built on a more advanced 2 nm process. Shrinking from 3 nm to 2 nm can offer higher transistor density, more power and capability. In the same area, lower power, consumption at the same performance level or higher, performance while drawing similar power. Apple already has a well-earned reputation for leading in single-core CPU performance, delivering excellent efficiency, especially in light and moderate tasks like browsing, messaging, and social apps. If the A20 Pro continues that trend at 2 nm, the iPhone Ultra could match or beat the Fold 8's performance while drawing less power for the same workloads that's critical on a foldable, where the inner display is huge and extremely power-hungry. Real-world impact. Screen on time and heavy use, the Galaxy Z Fold 8 reportedly manages very solid battery life, around 14+ hours of continuous web browsing and controlled testing, which is impressive for such a large foldable screen. Now imagine Apple matching that battery capacity and adding a more efficient 2 nm chip, aggressive power management, and iOS tight integration between hardware and software. The result could be longer screen on time when primarily using the inner display, better endurance for gaming, video editing, and camera use, less battery anxiety on long travel days. Even when multitasking heavily on the big screen, if the iPhone Ultra can consistently last longer than the Fold 8 under similar usage, that's an everyday benefit users will feel immediately, and one that's very easy to market. The catch: iPhone Ultra pricing versus Galaxy Z Fold. Even if Apple nails the crease, the apps, and the battery life, there's one big hurdle left: price. Current rumors suggest Galaxy Z Fold 8 starts around $1,900. iPhone Ultra could be $2,000 plus, with some estimates landing between $2,400 and $2,500. That means Apple's foldable might cost $500 to $600, more than Samsung's already expensive flagship foldable. For many buyers, that difference isn't trivial. So how does Apple make the pill easier to swallow? Apple's upgrade and financing strategy. Apple has increasingly leaned on the Apple Upgrade Program monthly payment plans with 0% financing through banks and carriers trade-in deals that let you roll the value of your old iPhone into the cost of a new one instead of asking customers to drop over $2,000 outright. Apple can present the iPhone Ultra as just a higher monthly payment than your regular iPhone, but now you get a full foldable experience. It's essentially a leasing model, but psychologically it works. If Apple can keep the monthly cost in a range that feels comparable to a Pro Max iPhone plus a bit more, many loyal customers will justify the upgrade, especially those deep in the Apple ecosystem with Macs, iPads, Apple Watch, and AirPods. iPhone Ultra versus Galaxy Z Fold 8. Who wins? Right now, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 8 is the foldable to beat in the widescreen category. It's surprisingly thin and light for what it is, packed with AI-powered features like smart suggestions and camera tools, a mature evolution of several generations of foldables. But if the leaks are accurate, the iPhone Ultra could come out swinging with an almost invisible crease. Thanks to advanced hinge and display engineering, far better app optimization on the inner screen by leveraging iPad-style layouts and Apple's mature developer tools, a more efficient 2mAh20 Pro chip, turning similar battery capacity into noticeably longer real-world battery life.